Seth and Landon Stisher out there in the Carolinas, and kind of in light of some other news in the sport, we have a cheerful story about judging errors, I suppose. Seth and Landon, you tell the story.
Well, the story probably, yeah, it is about judging errors, but more than that, it's about kind of sportsmanship and what it's like teaching kids, bringing kids up in water skiing, but also just what the sport's supposed to bring to us. So at our Southern Regionals last year, there was an event where something was pretty obviously misscored, and Landon, my son, was involved. And the story of what happened that I'm about to tell you it touched a lot of us. It was very cool. So Landon was the third seed in boys one slalom. So there were two guys behind him that were seated higher. He had to beat 4 at 22 off when he went out. And he hadn't run 22 off in a tournament prior to that. But that day, he ran 22 off right off the dock. He ran 2 at 28. It was a personal best. He took the lead. He was ecstatic. And this was the first time I'd ever watched him and walked away from the starting dock and let him do his own thing. So I was on the far side of the lake, obviously very excited as well. So I ran around to Landon and, gave him a hug and a high five and those things. And we watched the other two skiers. The skier right after him, Luka Zazadze, who's a friend of his, and all these guys in boys one are all buddies, went out, and his personal best, I think, was 3 or 4 at 28 off. So he was fully capable of beating the score Landon put out there, but you never know on any given day. So Luka goes out and runs all the way through, shortens at 22. He's coming back to the dock at 22 off, and he skis inside a 6-ball. And with the orientation of the starting dock and the slalom course, we could all see it. No big deal. It was kind of a bummer for him because we know he's a better skier than that. But when that happened, he cut back into the exit gates, and then he cut over to the shore and dropped. He knew he had missed it, so he was done. And, as much as you don't want bad things for people, I'm sure Landon was excited because at that point, Landon's guaranteed second place and had a chance still to be first place. So the boat crew goes over to Luka and asks him why he let go. And he said, well, I missed 6. I went inside of it. And they said, well, we didn't score it that way, so you get to continue. So they take Luka out, and he continues, and he runs 2 at 28 off and ties Landon. So at that point, Landon, if you want to jump in, how did you feel at that point? And you can be honest.
I was kind of mad, but, I understood that sometimes it doesn't go your way, so you have to just play along with it and ski your best.
Yeah, we had a conversation afterwards because he did say to me, Dad, he went inside of 6-ball. And nothing against Luka. Again, they're buddies, but he saw that. And I said, sometimes the score falls your way, sometimes the score falls the other way. So anyway, the next skier out, the top seed, Ethan Shockley ran, 3 or 4 at 28 off?
3.5.
3.5. So he beat these guys. So these guys are tied for second. They had to go out in a runoff. And at the end of the runoff, Luka won. And so Landon was in third place. We walked away from it. I know Landon was frustrated. He was keeping a good head about him, but just like we would all be, he was pretty frustrated. So about an hour later, Luka comes over to where we were, and I think the boys were about to go swimming or something because, again, they're all friends. And Luka said, Landon, you got second place. And Landon said, what? No, I got third. He said, no, I told the judges that I didn't go outside a 6-ball, and that I didn't deserve second place, and that Landon deserved second place. And at that moment, I think everyone around was shocked. It's just not something we see. For a kid to do that on his own, and Luka's dad, Paul, even said Luka went to the judges himself. Spoke to the judges later, and they said that, they couldn't change his score, but they told him he could concede on his runoff. And so basically, Luka gave away the second place position. It was amazing. We created an award in the Southern region for him, and we're going to have a sportsmanship award every year now. But once that happened, Landon, you tell, how did that make you feel when Luka said, I told him I didn't deserve it?
I was happy to place higher, but I was also happy that I knew that I had someone I could count on when things happened, and he was there and he helped me.
Yeah, he's a good sport about it, right? And the thing, from an adult perspective, seeing that is, in that case, I was happy for Landon because he got second place, which he deserved. But I was also really excited about Luka, and I think everyone was, that to see someone with that kind of heart and that kind of sportsmanship to do whatever it takes to make sure that it was, it was just and fair. And to be perfectly honest, too, the night before, we had the Southern Region meeting, and if you've ever been to those tournament-type meetings, you know that all the adults are butting heads and arguing over a sport that we all love, that we all call a great family sport, and here are the adults kind of ruining it in a sense.
Yeah,
And the kids, yeah, right? And the kids just epitomizing why we even do it. And it's just a great lesson. And so when I presented the award to Luca at the junior banquet that night, he got a standing ovation. You know, I think he almost had tears in his eyes. He was proud of himself too. And
as he should be. As he should be. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great thing. And then Landon, what happened to Luca at nationals?
He plays first.
Plays first. He's the national champion, right? What did you tell me earlier when you were talking about it?
Like, people who do that, things go their way.
That's right. You know, you do the right thing, and good things happen to you. So he had a great year. You know, a year where he became the Sportsman of the Year and a national champion.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, that's just a great story, and I really appreciate you telling that. As we talked about offline, it seems like we've been reporting the dirt and maybe some negative stories lately, and this just kind of reminds us that water skiing it's a good thing. We do it because we love it, and sportsmanship is so important. And I just want to thank both you guys for sharing this. Anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, I guess the biggest thing, and I hate it to sound like some touchy-feely lesson or whatever, but you know, we spend all our days out here skiing, and even with Landon, we have conversations. You know, I ask him a lot of different days, do you want me to be your dad today or your coach when we're out there? And on the days where I'm supposed to be his coach, I'm pushing him. He's pushing himself, and we're worried about how many buoys you run and how well you do things. But at the end of the day, that story really is why we do it, and that's, you know, the relationships you create with people and the trust that people have in you and sportsmanship and things like that, those extend beyond water skiing, and those carry with you for life. So if we as adults aren't teaching kids to do that, then you know, it kind of makes the whole thing a moot point.
Awesome. All right, Stisher family, I sure do appreciate you taking the time. Thanks again.
We appreciate what you do, man. Thanks.